recording. So today we're going to talk about how to be mentored and receive mentoring. And if you remember, Corey and Cassie did a team call about this early in the summertime. And the launch guide, of course, gets updated at convention. And so we have a little bit of a new launch guide look. But this is a call that we wanted to have because we've got several new people on the team now that need to hear this information again. Of course, if you are going through your launch training, there's a video about how to mentor, and it's really great. But sometimes it's helpful just to have a live interactive setting, like a team call where we're going through this stuff. And this has been a topic that's come up for me and Jeffrey a lot in our mentoring lately with the people that we work with on our mainline people. And for that reason, we thought, hey, let's just have a team chat about this. So I want you to first think about your relationships in doTERRA. If you were to, and particularly I'm talking about your relationships with any builders on your team. If you were to take an emotional thermometer and stick it into your team, what would it be? What would be the emotional temperature of your relationships with your builders? Is it cold, like because it's stagnant, like there's no life in it? Is it frustrated? Is it a little resentful? Is it anxious? Is it super excited or hopeful or optimistic? Or is it really gung-ho because, you've got your group of people and you're all just supercharged? Is it like kind of lost, like no one knows what they're doing? Okay. One of the questions that comes up to me often when we're talking about mentoring is how do I coach people, mentor people, promote things without being pushy? Especially since this is a war market business for so many of us, and we're working with our friends and family. The question is, how do I guide people without having it feel like I'm pushing my agenda onto them? And the answer is so easy. So I'm going to take you through. I'm going to show you what's on the mentoring page in the launch guide. And if you have not watched the mentoring video, just so you know, even if you went through launch last year, as of convention, as of like a month ago, all the launch videos are brand new and they're better. So you want to go and rewatch them. But I'll show you those resources. But before I get into that, I want to talk about something called positioning. And positioning is basically just the way that you position something in a conversation. When you position something, it's easy to make a win-win situation with the right positioning. So I was with someone just recently. We were talking about a builder on this person's team who's really afraid she's really afraid to share oils with her friends and tell them to buy things, tell them to enroll, things like that. She doesn't want to come off as having her own agenda or asking them for money and things like that. And I said, well, that's easy. That's just positioning. For me, I just position that as, hey, I care about you enough to share these things with you because they're working in my home. And I really want you to be able to have relief from whatever health thing is going on with them. Positioning, right? But here I'm going to, for those of you that are taking notes, I'm going to tell you the magic trick to positioning. All you have to do is first know what the person wants and then position your proposal around what they want. Does that make sense? So, for example, we've got team calls. In fact, this was a question that came up recently. Someone said, yeah, I've got a bunch of builders that aren't getting on the team call. And my response was, if you want to make income from this, you have to treat it like a business the way that you treat your job like a business. If I worked at a bank, I know that every bank has weekly staff meetings for all the bankers, right? It's not if you're not busy with the kids, or if you've got all the laundry done, or if you're in a good mood, then show up to the banker team meeting at the bank every week, right? If I'm a banker, I go to a team meeting every week with my bankers and the staff and the administration, right? If I were on the faculty at a university, I have faculty meetings regularly. And it's not, if you're not distracted with life or whatever, then show up. No, that's what I do. And if you want to make an income at doTERRA, there are certain parts of the business that are just parts of the business. A team call is one of them. And the reason why is because if you're not plugged into the community and developing the mindset continually, you're going to get derailed really fast, and you will not make money in this business because you're going to be derailed and discouraged and distracted. Does that make sense? So the way that I position that, though, because this person's worry was, how do I call my friends, and say, hey, you really need to be on this team call, without having them feel like I'm pushing it. And I said, easy, you position it right. So if I'm talking to a new builder, all I do is position my guidance around what that new builder wants. So let's say that the builder says, yeah, I need to be making like an extra $500 a month. That would really change my life. And I say, great, here's what's really required. First, there's the stuff that you already know, right? You're going to duplicate that 3-step plan for a few years. The share oils, enroll a few customers in a builder a month, and launch your builders to do the same thing. Okay. There's also just a couple logistics. We have a team call that happens every Tuesday, and that needs to be part of your weekly schedule. And if they have a day job, then when you get home from work every Tuesday or on your way home driving, plan on playing the team call so that that's just part of the business. Does that make sense? And the reason why is because you need to be plugged into the community and be developing the business mentality if you really want to make it work. And do you see how I did that seem like my agenda at all? It didn't, because it's about what that person wanted. Here's another example. So we have a few people that are going for silver right now. And I love positioning because it's fun, and it's funny when you compare it to the opposite. So if I were wanting to coach someone that was going silver, right? And I called them up and said, hey, I know you want to go silver. You should probably do a class or two this month. What did I just do? Did I just set that person up to get what they want? No, not at all. Because doing a class or two will not make you go silver. There's actually more effort that's required, right? That's like someone saying, I really want to be a doctor. And their mom saying, yeah, you should, watch a couple of videos on YouTube about health, right? That's not what it takes. As a mentor, it's my ethical duty to tell people what will actually get them what they want. And that's part of, you guys, that's why I love our 2 to 5 year plan so much, because I know that if someone does the 3 steps for 2 to 5 years, they will grow a significant residual income. And even if I'm a brand new builder and I haven't done it myself yet because I'm working on it, I know that statistically it's a fact that if you do those 3 steps for 2 to 5 years, you will be making at least a few, maybe, somewhere around $5,000 to maybe even $10,000 residually a month. 5 would be the low end if you did it for 2 years. And so I know that's just a numerical fact. So as a mentor, I can confidently tell someone that says, I would love to be a gold in 2 years and be able to leave my full-time job and be making, $4,000 or $5,000 a month. And I can tell them, oh, I know exactly what to do if that's what you really want. You need to do these 3 steps for a minimum of 2 years, and you will be a gold by that time. Do you see what I'm saying about the positioning? So someone unmute themselves and give me a tricky mentoring situation. And I'm going to show you how to use positioning to be able to solve it. Okay?
Let's say, I have one. Let's say you've put yourself in a situation where you feel like, it's been over a really long period of time, so it's not a new mentor or a new builder that you're mentoring. It's someone who's, you've kind of gotten yourself into a sticky situation where you feel like you're being too pushy.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. So number 1, when you feel like you're being pushy, it's because you're worried about you more than you're worried about them. In fact, if you're a parent, you know the feeling most likely of when you're frustrated with your child, or if you're married and you're frustrated with your spouse, right? It's because you're more worried about your feelings and your ability or inability to cope with those feelings than you are with the other person. That's why you feel frustrated, or why you feel like you're maybe going to be pushing, things like that. So this is how you use positioning in that situation. To summarize, Cassie's saying, what if you have a builder that has been inactive for a while? right? And maybe you're inviting them to team calls and things like that, and they never show up. Maybe they don't even respond to your phone calls or text messages. It's that kind of relationship, right? And you feel like, I feel like I'm the only person invested in this relationship. So this is what you do. You have to go back to what they want, right? In fact, I know we're probably thinking of the same person on your team, Cassie. You go back to that person and say, hey, I know that I don't know where you are in your life, or if your goals or ideals have changed, or if your needs have even changed. But I know that you came to me a while ago and you had some needs that you were looking to fulfill or to fill, and doTERRA was a great option. And if that's not the case anymore, I'm fine with that. But could you just help me understand more of what you are looking for? Okay. So the only tricky thing is you actually have to have a conversation. So if they're not responding to your phone calls or your text messages, like it might be time to just move on to the next person, right? And if you're recruiting a builder a month, like the minimum recommends, then you'll be distracted with your new builders anyway. but that's what you do. You go back to what they want. And then maybe that person, Cassie, says, after just kind of messing with doTERRA casually for a year and a half, I've realized that what I want is, what would that person say maybe on this phone call?
To not do this.
Okay. If they
to just be a sharer.
If they said that, then you would say, great, that's awesome. So what being a sharer looks like is, if you have someone that wants to learn about oils, bring them to me. And I'll make sure that they get taught a one-on-one or a class or an online interactive class. Yeah. So is there anything that you need from me to feel really comfortable bringing the people you share with to me so I can help get them signed up? That's it. Okay.
I like it.
What's another thing they might say after a year and a half of being inactive? Maybe they say, maybe work has settled down a little bit. My breakup with my girlfriend is over, and maybe I'm actually ready to get back into this, right? And you have to get clear about what they want. This is the deal with positioning, you guys. If you don't know what they want, you can't position things well, okay? And that's super crucial. If you know what they want, your only job is to be a decent human being and tell them what will get them what they want, okay? It has nothing to do with you being a good mentor or being, credible or having a high rank or anything. This is literally just you being a good human being and being honest enough to tell them how to get what they want. If someone says, I just want to use the oils, I've realized, what's the only decent, honest thing to say to that person? Great. I would love for you to be a customer to support you like that. We have great customer resources on our team. I'm going to make sure that you're plugged into the customer Facebook group where you can ask questions anytime you have them. And then I'll put you on one of the customer tracks in the SS Pro app so that you're getting, and I'll just send you little, videos here and there to teach you how to use your oils. That's it. Okay. And I'll reach out to you to make sure that you know how to take advantage of your loyalty rewards orders and that, you're getting your health, moving toward your health goals the way you want to. Do you see how that works? And
that's awesome.
It's the same with LRP, you guys. The reason why I don't have a problem telling someone to get on LRP is because I position it around what they want. When Tara came to me at the very beginning of her doTERRA journey, we met at a lupus foundation because, she is a lupus survivor. And she shared with me all the symptoms that she was dealing with lupus. And I said, wow, I want you to overcome those things. So you're going to need lifelong vitality. You're going to need frankincense and deep blue rub and right? And you're going to use quite a bit of deep blue rub with lupus, and you're going to want to use lifelong vitality every month. And that's not me and I'm not worried about sharing that with her because I'm just positioning it around helping her get what she wants. Duh. Does that make sense, you guys? So with positioning, that's how you get people moving in the right direction with mentoring. And that tells you that as a mentor, you should always know what people want. And I go back to what people want all the time, literally multiple times on every phone call with my builders. And the reason why is because it's never going to be about my agenda. Maybe every once in a while, maybe I'm going for platinum or diamond, and I need my 3 people to rank advance to silver, I might call and say, hey, I've got this rank goal and I want to be a diamond, and that would make you a silver. Is that something you want to work on together? Would you be interested in that goal for you? And still, even though I have my own agenda, I want to go diamond, I'm asking them what they want. And if they said, no, I don't silver, like I'm interested in being silver, like maybe in the next 6 months, just doing it slowly and surely. And then I say, great, let's talk about how we could help you continue doing your actions. In the meantime, I'm still going to go for diamond, right? Does that make sense? So I ask that question a lot. Does that make sense? um, so once you position things, then it's all about helping them remain accountable, okay? And that also is a matter of positioning. So this is a conversation Jeffrey and I were having just last night. As a mentor, it is not my job to chase the people I mentor. It's their job to chase their own dreams. And the moment that you start chasing their dreams for them is the moment that you completely enable them to, you're enabling them. You're not empowering them. I can't want the success of my builder more than my builder wants their own success. And so I'll use positioning to find out who wants what and if they really want it. Okay. So if I'm mentoring, let's say that Kimberly is my new builder and we're chatting and I ask her, we're talking about what she wants, and she says, yeah, I could, like, within the next 12 months, I'd love to be making $2,000 a month residually. Like, that's really powerful residual income, right? That's like a mortgage. Well, in Utah, it's 2 mortgages. In California, it's like a 1-bedroom apartment. But but anyway, that's like a mortgage or a rent payment, okay? And I would use positioning to make sure that she's really committed. I would say, okay, I hear what you want, and I love that goal. That's beautiful, Kimberly, and it's possible. And I might lay out what she needs to do, okay? So we want to launch you to Elite your first month. That looks like enrolling 15 people your first month, and then making sure that you're enrolling 4 or 5 people a month for the rest of the year. And if you do that consistently and you teach your builders to do that, you will definitely be at that $2,000 residual income mark within a year, okay? And then I might ask her, how do you feel about committing to that? Is that something you want to commit to? Or I might use stronger language. Is that something you are prepared to commit to? And do you see, I'm letting her make the commitment, and it's still about what she wants. And I'll tell people, it's your job to chase your dreams. So this is what our mentorship relationship looks like. And I'd actually invite you guys to write this down, especially if you don't feel like you're very effective in your mentoring relationships, okay? The mentor's job is to strategize and hold the mentee accountable. The mentee's job is to reach out when needed, to always ensure the next step is in place. Okay? So if you're the mentee, and we're all mentees, right? We all have an upline, we all have mentors. It's my job, it's Andrew's job to make sure that I know what my next step is. And if I don't know, it's my job to ask. Okay? You have to, and the mentee, that needs to be so clear. So when I bring a new builder on board, or if I'm working with an old builder that's just never gotten good mentoring habits, it's my job as the mentor to say, hey, Kimberly, let's say that Kimberly's let's say that Kimberly's an old builder. She's been in this for a year and a half, and we just never gotten in a good rhythm, and she really wants to get things going now, okay? I've got to tell her, hey, I want to get you what you want. I know you want to be a silver, and it's possible, okay? I'm going to be here to strategize with you. You've got to want this, and it's got to be your job to want this. So your job is to always make sure that you know the next step and that you know how to do it. And if you don't know, it's your job to ask me, all right? I know that, Kimberly, sometimes people get distracted. Sometimes a family fiasco happens. Sometimes the kids get sick, whatever, okay? And when I see you, getting a little bit sidetracked, I'm going to reach out to you, but it's your job to respond. Does that make sense? We can't ever have a kind of relationship where I'm hunting you down or chasing you. Can you commit to that? All right. And I just ask for really clear expectations like that. There's, if you remember in GoPro, and all you new builders are reading GoPro right now, I'm sure, but for those of you that haven't read it in a while, they do that thing called the game plan in GoPro, where you sit down with a builder, whether a new builder or an older builder that's getting back in the game. And I love this part of the game plan. They say, so there's going to come a time when you get discouraged. It happens to everybody. And I'll know you're discouraged when you either stop calling, when you stop enrolling, or when you start making excuses. When this happens, and it will, how do you want me to respond?
Okay, Andrew.
Yeah.
So we went through this once on a call that I did.
Yep.
This exact same thing, and we had everybody write down what they wanted. So then I had this exact same situation come up with someone, and I did exactly what they told me to do, and they just completely ignored me. And I reached out, and they completely ignored me. So in that case, I just basically, I mean, what do you do? I was frustrated because I was doing what they asked me to do. Mm-hmm. So what would you do in that situation?
I would move on. Move on.
With your new other builders.
Yep. It only becomes frustrating if you're putting all your eggs in one basket. If you know that your primary target is to bring, continue growing your team with your efforts, then those things don't get. I mean, it's disheartening for sure. Like, it's sad, especially because in this business, that person might have been someone you really admired, right?
Corey? Yeah, they were totally.
And for that reason, it's sad because you think, I want you to have your dreams, but I know that I can't want it more than you want it, and I love you enough to let you go. And I would just send that person a quick message saying, hey, I've tried to help engage you, and I can't want this more than you want it. I love you, and I'm here for you when you're ready. You reach out when you're ready. And I'm going to turn my attention to people that really value it right now. And then leave them alone. That's what I would do. So, if you actually have communication, if there's breakdowns happening, and you have maybe rough communication, you can feel the energies off in a mentor-mentee relationship. It's great to involve your upline and get on a three-way call. Jeffrey and I do this pretty often with key people that we work with, and or if someone just has a block that you're not quite sure, like you've been working on it with them for a while and you're just having a hard time solving it. Pull in extra resources, pull in extra people. Three-way calls are a great tool for mentoring. In fact, Tara came to us a week and a half ago, and she said, hey, she asked if she could start doing more three-way calls, because three-way calls are a great way to let a less experienced builder learn how mentoring is really done. So like, maybe let's say that I've only been at doTERRA for a couple months, and I'm like, I know where all the training and resources are, but I'm not quite sure how to talk people through them yet. I might ask Rebecca to help me mentor Tara for a call or two, or maybe even for a month, right? And that way I get to see how Rebecca mentors Tara, so I'm learning. And then when Tara's ready to get someone going on her team, you might do the same thing with me, where I'll help mentor that person while Tara's on the phone learning. And we keep that going. You see how that works?
Yeah, I like that idea a whole lot. I have one other question. Okay, so I just think everyone needs to know that if something like that does happen, where you just have to let someone go because it's just not working, that they're always welcome to come back.
Yes.
That they don't feel like, I was, I didn't do it right, got in trouble, I was bad, I'm kicked off of the team. They're always welcome to come back.
Yes, and that's why we make it clear in those, in the letting them go message that you send them, whatever that looks like. That's why you say just that. I love you, and I'm here for you. I've got to turn my attention to someone who is ready for it, who's going to really use it and value it right now. Know that I'm here for you when you're ready. So just reach out. And it takes courage, you guys. It takes courage to let someone go like that. But, legitimately, If you're really committed to growing your own business, you're going to have new people that need your attention anyway. So, it's actually, it's a worthy, courageous act to let somebody go that's not ready for you. Okay.
And I have one other thing too. I'm sorry, I'm kind of monopolizing
Go
this.
ahead.
Okay, so also I found that occasionally I'll have someone who they're afraid to ask me for help as a mentor. Like they'll say, well, I know you're so busy, and so, I don't want to take up your time and stuff like that. So in that case, then I've had the person just kind of not reach out at all, and it's like I feel like I don't want to do what you said, just hounding and hunting them down and that sort of thing. So in that situation, what's your suggestion?
This is something that you solve from the very beginning by positioning. So in our positioning, like what you'd say when you're starting up a mentor-mentee relationship, again, whether it's a new builder or an older builder that's coming back into the game, you ask that question. You're like, when you get discouraged, how do you want me to respond? You help them know what their duties are. Your duty is to always know what the next step is. And if you don't know, it's your job to ask. And you guys, I will even be so clear as to say, if you're unclear about something, you need to ask within a day, 2 at the most. The last thing that we ever need you doing is wallowing or wandering or being confused for 2 weeks at a time. Like that's a perfect way to help you, to get you discouraged to the point where you might even check out. And then, you lose sight of your dreams. And I positioned that from the beginning, and I asked them, can I ask you to commit to that? So that they know it's your job to reach out. And I'll tell people, like, you don't need to apologize when you ask me for help. That's my job as your mentor, to help guide you and strategize with you. But I make sure that they know it's your job to reach out if you don't know what to do next or you don't know how to do it. And as the mentor, most of the answers are, I'm going to refer them to one of the videos in the launch training, because, Blue Diamond Kari Arnson's going to answer their question about inviting better than I can. But then I might spend some time on the phone strategizing with them, about their specific situation once they learn the basic principles from the training. But do you see what I mean to answer that question, Corey, that you position it from the beginning?
Yeah. Yep. I get that.
When you don't position things this way, you guys, you set yourself up for a rocky relationship a lot of the time. Because if let's say I hadn't positioned these things from the beginning, I didn't tell the new builder or my new mentee that it's your job to come to me when you don't know the next step or you don't know how to do it. I hadn't positioned that. It's very likely that the rest of our relationship will look like me pushing them. Hey, you really need to get on the team call this week. Hey, you really, ought to consider coming to convention. Hey, don't you want to do any classes this month? You see, like, it has that energy of me dragging them along through the mud. It's just awful.
Well, and plus it's like you can't, like, you're not in the business alone. Someone said a quote about that. You're in the business, but you're not in it alone. And I think some people think they've got to do it all themselves, but it's like, you can't do this kind of business by yourself.
Yeah.
And you can't do it without mentoring.
Right. And on that same note, you can't do this without being mentored. So we talked about how to mentor, right? And basically this hasn't been how to mentor. This has been how to get the mentoring started, right? By positioning things the right way. Do you guys know what your jobs are as a mentee, since we are all mentees? Let me tell you something about about mentoring. You need mentoring. And I mean, you guys, I've been exposed to so many massively successful people. I watch Tony Robbins documentaries where he talks about the people that mentor him. Freaking Tony Robbins. Okay. I was at Laura Langmeyer's Millionaire Maker Summit with Tara and Jeffrey a year and a half ago. And Laura Langmeyer was talking about her mentors. The Millionaire Maker has mentors. And Jeanette Franson, our Blue Diamond upline, she invests good time into being mentored regularly. You need mentors. This is the deal with mentoring. A mentor is going to help hold you accountable to your dreams and help you strategize on how to get there. And if you already had the mindset necessary for your dreams, you would have your dreams. Does that make sense? That's why you need mentoring. You guys, I seek mentoring regularly, often. Not only am I watching videos, while most people are playing Angry Birds while they're on the toilet in the bathroom, I'm watching like training videos and stuff. Okay, that's a lot of information. That's what I do. When I'm working from home on my computer and I'm doing mundane stuff, like answering questions on the Facebook group and things like that, things that don't require like really intense attention, I have Shark Tank playing on my TV because I'm watching how these sharks think and do business, stuff like that. Or I have an audiobook going. When I'm getting ready in the morning, Jeff was getting ready upstairs in our bathroom, and I heard the speaker playing. He was listening to a personal development book while he was brushing his teeth and doing his hair and getting dressed. And that's a form of being mentored. But not only that, I go to my real life mentors. In fact, I was on the phone with one of them yesterday because I had a problem that I needed to solve. And I was on the phone with another one on Saturday. I needed to work through some things. And so I reached out. My mentors never chase me. They don't ever chase me because I know that if they're chasing me, I'm not committed to my dreams, and it's my job to want my dreams. It's not my mentor's job. And so what I invite you guys to do as we wrap this call up, besides just promoting the heck out of those December promotions, because you guys, that's just volume that's just begging to be taken advantage of. Okay. Besides that, contemplate these two roles that you play. You are a mentor and you are a mentee. Okay. If you're a less experienced mentor, you have access to your direct upline who can help you with, develop those mentoring skills by doing some three-way mentor calls. And everybody has access to help like that, okay? Go to your direct upline first and ask them if they would help you with some three-way calls. Also, the mentoring page in your launch guide gives you some wonderful tips and tricks. It has the column here on the left, be mentored, and on the right, be a mentor. And it tells you just 1, 2, 3 how to do it, and then tips to make it really effective. Okay. Also, watch the video on sharesuccess.com/launch about mentoring because it's really wonderful, and it will remind you that your job isn't to know everything. In fact, the less you seem like you know, the more effective you're going to be. Because if you can point people to resources, that's the most effective way to. Good mentors do that. They direct people to resources. And then you spend your time just strategizing about how to personalize it to their specific situations, okay? And then the other role, being mentored. My invitation for you guys today is to commit to your dreams. We talked about all that positioning, asking the people you're mentoring what they want regularly, going back to it. Like I don't make recommendations to people without reiterating what they want. As someone being mentored, I've got to be committed to what I want. So my invitation to you as mentees, people who are mentored, are being mentored, is to own your commitment, own your dreams. And it's your job, it's our job to go to our mentors and say, how do I get this in the most efficient way possible? Not to our mentors with a bunch of excuses, but to say, I'm being a great mentee when I go to my mentor and say, I really want to be diamond. I feel like I only have like 12 hours a week max to be able to do doTERRA, and I want to be diamond fast. Is it possible? How can I make it happen? Do you see? Because my focus is on what I want, and I take it to them and say, how? And then they're going to be a great mentor and help me figure it out. As a new builder, you guys, there comes a time in your life when you've exercised and developed the discipline as an entrepreneur to where you're disciplined enough that you're going to be engaged in your primary activities by yourself, whether or not you're talking to your mentor regularly. I'm going to be very frank. Most people on this team are not there yet. And you don't develop it. Ranks are a great way to look at this. I would say that when you're a gold, you've reached that level of entrepreneurial maturity to where maybe you don't need a regular weekly scheduled mentor call. If you are brand new, I like a minimum of once a week mentoring, absolute minimum, and it's scheduled, and it's your job to reach out to your mentor to schedule that. My favorite is where you have a 10 or 15 minute call 3 times a week. They're really, really short and sweet. I love that, because then your mind's more engaged. You guys, until you've developed entrepreneurial discipline, your brain is programmed to get distracted, to find excuses. That's how most of the world works. That's why most people don't have their dream lives, because they get derailed by all their excuses and distractions. And you need to be plugged into mentorship really intentionally to be able to reprogram that mentality into a success mentality. That's why I like 10 or 15 minute calls 3 times a week, because they're often, but they're short. So it's not, a big time infringing thing, but they're often enough to where your brain is reminded regularly, oh yeah, I'm in this game. I'm learning to be the intentional creator of my life. Okay. So whatever mentoring needs to look like to you, once a week is the absolute minimum, you guys. If you want your goals, you want to make money, you want to change lives, you're going to have to learn to think differently. And that's why you need mentorship. So, and as the mentor, I invite you to reach out to the people that you need to be mentoring and position their next steps around what they want, and then position your relationship so that they're coming to you. Okay? Are there any last questions about this topic, mentoring or being mentored? I love everything you brought up so far.
Can you just post online all of the what's the word I'm looking for?
Positioning?
No, not the positioning. All of the perks
Main points.
on this year.
Oh, the perks.
All of the perks, yeah. Post that on the builder page, just so that
I'm pretty sure it is posted.
Is it on our builder page
Yeah, in like a little graphic.
on Facebook? Okay.
We'll check and make sure. Yeah, we'll make sure that those are posted. Any other questions? Oh, hey, you guys, just so you know, we're going to start using Remind. Remind.com. It's a system that lets you just text message a whole group at a time. Instead of doing like a calling tree kind of thing where I text my builders and they text their builders, there are people that don't get messages. And so we're going to post a link on the Facebook group, and we'll send it out to everyone too through our tree. And just click on the link and register your name and your phone number so that you can get team updates through text messaging. Okay? It'll be a really efficient way to communicate promos and team call reminders and all kinds of goodies like that. Just to help everyone plugged in so that nobody feels like you don't know what's going on. So, any other questions? Good to go? Okay, well, this is the month, you guys. I know that you guys have rank goals, and I've heard of a lot of people's goals, and we want to see you succeed. We have our own rank goal this month, and we're going to be leveraging Oil Camp, and if you don't know what that is, ask your upline, okay? That started yesterday, and it's a great way to get your customers involved in using their products and on LRP. And we're going to be using all these promos and good mentoring practices. So on we go, and hope you guys are all having beautiful holidays and time with your family. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.